Girlfriend, 22F, acting spoiled when making vacation plans with me, 22M. First of all, let me start by saying that we have been together for 2 years now and she knows my parents very well. They met each other plenty of times and spend a lot of time together. We live in a poor European country. Average salary here is like €400 per month. I finished university last year and got a high-paying job which is super hard to come by in my country. She is still in university and from a lower middle-class family. Besides this, my parents are very rich. We own a beach house in another European famous tourist destination, so obviously when I discussed going on a summer trip with my girlfriend I proposed the idea to come here. However, she rejected because, my parents might be around there, which made no sense for me because she met them and spent a lot of time with them, even alone without me. They get along really well and she likes them. I was a bit mad because now I needed to literally waste money to book accommodation in the exact same country where I already have a family beach house. She still wants to go to the same country, just because she doesn't want to stay in our house. But I was okay with it and started giving her other options where we could go to. And this is the part that annoyed me the most and why I am writing this in the first place. I gave her a list of 5 cities where we could go and wanted to hear her opinions. Told her that I chose these 5 cities because they are the easiest for me to drive to and, to be honest, most affordable. Yet she rejected all the options and wants to go to another, 6th place, which is not only the most expensive city in that country but also the furthest away and would take me 3 more hours to drive. She is set on this and does not want to make a compromise. Whenever I tried bringing up other ideas or cities, she becomes defensive and dismisses my ideas. I am literally offering her a free vacation, first in my family house and then in plenty of other destinations, yet she is throwing fits and not willing to make a single compromise. Her only duty here would be to just pack her bags and I would take care of everything else, yet she still doesn't want to make a single compromise and make it easier for me. Especially since I am a new driver and additional 3 hours of driving to another city is a big deal for me. How do I let her politely know she is acting spoiled without turning it into a fight or an argument? Too long did not read. Girlfriend making it difficult to plan a vacation, constantly unhappy with my ideas. Despite me paying for everything, she acts like she is the only one who gets to decide everything and isn't willing to compromise. A sign of things to come. She knows your family is rich and she expects you to spend money on her. You say you've been with her for 2 years, so this shouldn't be a surprise to you. It's up to you whether you decide to continue paying for everything for someone who is ungrateful and entitled with your family's money. She's letting you know she doesn't want to be an equal partner in a respectful relationship. She wants to make demands and be catered to. Is that what you want? Well, she can only not compromise if you make all the compromises. So don't. Because you have a well-paying job, she wants you to spend the money on her. Tell her you can go to the most expensive city but that you're going 50-50 on everything. I feel you won't be her boyfriend long, and that's a good thing. Husband, 33M. Won't accept divorce. I'm 28F, being guilted into helping him. I, 28F, told my husband, 33M, back in Jan that I wanted a divorce. A little backstory. We talked May of last year about our relationship. Explaining that I need more, he doesn't help, with literally anything, and these are the things I needed him to do. I told him he had until the end of the year to show me he's serious. He didn't change at all, so I stuck to my word and asked for a divorce. After Jan, we didn't speak for 6 weeks, and when we did, I mentioned the divorce. Cycle repeats every 6 weeks. I was hoping that by May or so, of my mind not changing, he would come around and accept it, but he's just digging his heels in even more. My main issue is in Jan we received a notice that the conditions for his green card would be lifted after submitting a form, due end of April. He didn't do anything with it. He waited until after the deadline, May, and then brought it up, saying that he was just going to go back to his home country once we divorced, so he didn't care. I told him he was being irrational and that he needed to think of the future. He said no and that he was going home. I said okay, and I didn't file anything. This really isn't even something I should file for him. He needs to do it, not me. A big issue in our marriage was that I have had to mother him for the past 6 years, and here I am trying to exit the relationship and I'm still taking care of him. He's now asking that I submit the papers and we stay living together until the card comes, and divorcing a year or so after. I said I would think about it and then countered that he has to move out before I do anything. Now he is begging and asking me to give us another chance, that he wants to try again, etc., etc. I told him he has 2 choices. Green card and stop begging me to stay and move out or stay and I finalize the divorce. He's now saying that he doesn't care about the green card, our marriage is more important blah blah. All stupid fluff that is pure bullshit. But I feel significant other guilty. I am struggling with this overwhelming guilt and it's crushing me. I want him out, I want to finalize the divorce and move on with my life. But I feel guilty if I move forward and he loses out on the green card. I also know that his quality of life is going to go downhill once I leave. Home country is great but he comes from a lower income household and that's where he would go back. But he's going through my things now, flipping between guilting and begging me and I just don't know how much longer I can do this. Do I submit the divorce papers and move on with my life? Or spend another 6 malio to a year being guilted? Either way, I am going to feel or be guilted. I just want to know that I'm not an asshole if I move forward with the divorce. Too long did not read. Trying to leave my husband but he doesn't want the divorce. I feel guilty for sticking to my decision but don't want to ruin his life. Lawyer. Stop talking to him AMD only communicate through your lawyer. This clown isn't acting in good faith. He's a poster child for weaponized incompetence and malingering. Let him go home. Whatever country you are in expects newcomers to work. Show they are able to make good decisions, be a grown-up. He has not done any of that. Let him go home. Shut your door. Shut your ears. Shut down communications. Let him go home. Why do you feel guilty? If he wanted the green card he would have the green card. He would have been submitting paperwork and making calls and making the changes you've asked. He doesn't want the green card, then stop trying to get it for him. You've been married for 6 years, does it actually take that long? Lawyer. Yesterday. I believe it's actually illegal to marry or stay with someone just for them to get citizenship. This guy has no intention of being an equal partner or going for his green card. Don't commit immigration fraud for him. Divorce doesn't have to be in mutual decision for all your paperwork. Working on our M37, F37, 15-year marriage, is this the end? Backstory: husband, John, 37 male, and I, 37 female, have been married for over 15 years. We have 2 kids, 14 and 2. We've had issues, as every marriage does. About 9 years ago he had an emotional affair with a coworker. I found out by looking at our phone bill and seeing a ridiculous amount of texts to an unknown number. Confronted him, it took some time but we worked it out. We've been having problems over the last year so I asked him to move out in January. Said we needed space to figure things out. I told him if he wanted to date, maybe he should. Maybe we're not as right for each other as we originally thought. He attempted to date a few people but nothing really came of it as far as I know. The thought of dating has not crossed my mind. I have 2 kids and a full-time job. I have no mental energy to even entertain that. He's been trying to work on himself and we've had a lot of conversations, some good, some bad. We met 4 weeks ago, mid-May, for lunch, and had a matter-of-fact conversation. We have problems, but we can work on them. We love one another and we want to be a family again. Time apart has been good. The lease at his apartment ends at the end of July. He works odd hours through June so I suggested that he spend his weekends home with the family, then when his schedule stabilizes in July he can start to move back in. He agreed. He put my wedding ring back on my hand and I put his band on his. Everything's good. He was over a few days ago and I jokingly said, at some point we're going to have a conversation about any relations that have occurred. A few hours go by, and when we're getting ready for bed he dropped that he had slept with someone, but it was a one and done thing. That was it. I asked when. 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was pissed as that was after our lunch and we argued, but then tabled it for another day. I was suspicious so I checked his phone. Not a one and done. They've been texting dozens of times a day, even the days he's here with me. Details aside, every time I prodded him there was more that had happened between them. I thought that by making a plan and putting our rings on we were committed to our marriage. He says that since he wasn't living here we were still separated and he thought the old rules still applied. That we were working on our marriage but not married. His last chance to sow his wild oats. I feel horrendously betrayed and want a divorce. He thinks I'm making too much of this and we need to come together and fix it, and move back in together. I don't see how we can. Advice? His behavior is not going to change and you will never trust him. Proceed with divorce. The fact that he lied to you when he said it was a one and done and it wasn't, shows that he is not 100% invested in fixing your relationship. I'm no therapist but this is not fair to you or your children. Nothing worse than being in a relationship with someone who lies. He is never going to truly change. Hire a divorce lawyer, send him back to his apartment and move on with your life. You and your kids deserve better. You need to meet him for lunch again at the same place he put your rings back on you. Take them off, hand them to him and tell him to renew his lease cause you are done. He isn't committed, he just wants to run around and have fun but not have to carry all the financial responsibility of his rent and food. Why would he say it was one and done, and hide it if he thought you were still in the working on it stage? Doesn't make sense? If he didn't think it was wrong, why hide anything? Just a convenient excuse for him to fall back on in case he gets caught out, no? Have you tried or done counseling? What do you want to do now? How do you feel? Do you want to work on it? I, 29M, caught my girlfriend, 30F, on dating sites. We've been together about a year and a half now. Last week I went out to her place in the morning to surprise her with some food. We have been fighting a bit, so it was going to be a full date day. She rolled over in bed and I saw a message on her home screen saying, "You're such a beautiful girl, why are you on dating sites?" So at this point she's just woken up. Obviously I'm pretty tense and she asks me if I'm okay. I'm like, I'm not really sure, I just seen a message on your phone that said why are you on dating sites? You're such a beautiful girl. She replies, what are you talking about, that's crazy, I'm not on any dating sites, and then ran to the restroom. She was in the restroom for quite a while and then finally comes out and goes, yes, I was on a dating site, we've been fighting a lot, but it's not like that, I was just wanting to see what was out there. I left because I was in a pretty big panic. My ex prior to her that I was with for 10 years cheated on me constantly and it destroyed me, so she knows how I feel about stuff like that. She texts me and says I didn't cheat though. I would have never have even met up with or talked to anyone without telling you first and breaking it off. I'm sorry that I downloaded it, I was just lost and hurting. We don't have an open relationship of any kind, and obviously she was talking to someone since that was over text, meaning she's been giving out her number. She keeps saying things like, I'm sure it's all very worse in your head. I questioned her a bit more on it. She said he was the only one I messaged. I matched with people and let my inbox fill up. I only responded to him because he's friends with Danny and Aaron. She keeps telling me it's worse in my head and I'm overreacting. I'm so torn apart. I love this girl, but after my ex I promised myself I'd never put myself through that again. She says she doesn't want to lose me and will do whatever it takes. She said I can look through her entire phone now. Kinda late now since she had a week to delete everything. So a few questions. Should I even give her another chance? Is this cheating? If I go through the phone and find obviously deleted messages, how should I respond? Is she trying to gaslight me? She keeps telling me it's worse in my head and I'm overreacting. If she keeps on justifying her actions and blaming you for overreacting, then you know it's over. She's trying out her other options while keeping you as the safe option. Based on her comment, without telling you first and breaking it off, once she finds a viable candidate, she'll just move ahead and dump you. She's fucked in the head. Being on dating sites is pretty much setting the intention to cheat. She didn't cheat because she got caught. But she was going to. Cut your losses here, my man. She keeps telling me it's worse in my head and I'm overreacting. You are definitely not overreacting, and in fact, if you won't break up with her you'll be underreacting. She is messaging dudes on a dating app while in a relationship with you, come on. Thank you all. I genuinely was thinking I was crazy and overreacting. I don't have too many people I like to share my personal life with because if we were to work it out I wouldn't want them thinking bad of her.